Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Digital.Flash.Fire. This is Dan. Today we're going to do a little bit of armored warfare here. I am in the beautiful Chieftain Mark V. This is the Tier 5 Western main battle tank that I'm driving kind of like a drunk monkey, apparently. It has a lot of armor. It has very little speed, and it's got kind of a little plinky gun. The penetration is acceptable, especially with the upgraded ammunition, but I should probably follow my tank around, shouldn't I? But it definitely requires you to spend a lot of time hunting weak spots, which you're not going to have to watch, fortunately, because Armored Warfare's replay system doesn't have sniper view. So while it has a wonderful free camera view, you can see me following these guys around, what it doesn't have is any ability to see what I'm seeing. So we're pretty much stuck following people around. Now, I'm okay with that for now. I do hope they fix it because this really is kind of painful. But as you can see, in this map it isn't as much of a problem. That guy got hit hard. But in some maps, lighting is a real issue. So you have a lot of trouble seeing even what I'm shooting at, let alone what parts of the tank I'm shooting at. Now here, I'm going to show you, you can see this would be a really good side scrape in World of Tanks. This would be a really difficult shot for him. But in Armored Warfare, the way the armor profiles on the tank work, your side armor is much, much, much weaker than your front hull armor. So you do not want to side scrape like I was just doing. And this is a situation where I would just, in World of Tanks, I would just point right up the middle and ignore both of these guys. Now, I have enemies spread out over about 70 degrees of arc, which is really bad. And my armor starts to take some really big hits. So I back off, I get terrain between me and the enemies, and I start taking them on one by one. Put a big shot into the BMP-3. And you can see they're getting hammered. But, oh my god, another enemy tank. So now they've got me pretty much in a 180 here. So I'm going to drive up, I'm going to get some cover. And you see another enemy tank has shown up. This is, obviously this is PvE, where the enemy continues to spawn throughout the mission. And this is actually a hard mode. So I'm going to drive up, I'm going to take down the target I can take down. I'm going to use my consumable, which gets me all my hit points back, all my ammo back, which I did not want to do this early. But I am in the thick of it because my teammates are all pretty much behind me. And I'm not even top tier. The MBT-70 and the Type 85 are both higher tier than me, with presumably better armor and better guns. Now this actually has much better armor than probably the Type 85. And whiff. The gun handles extremely well. If this was a World of Tanks gun, it would be officially OP as shit. The gun handling is ludicrously good. It's pretty damn good even for Armored Warfare, especially for a main battle tank. So I'm going to round the corner and put the shot in, and I turn the hull, finish turning the hull, and I take a hit, but it's not a big hit. It's an HE round. Put another shot, and you'll notice down there that I hit him not in the middle of the hull, but I hit him further back in the hull, where I'm much more likely to penetrate, because generally the armor profile really tough with maybe a weak spot for the driver's hatch. The front half of the hull gets decent armor so that if you keep it angled, you're going to be okay. And then the back, which is just soft cheddar. Now the big advantage you have over the AI is players are much better at controlling the angle they fight at. So here, I just shoot the back of the guy when he goes to drive away to reposition. Tanks in Armored Warfare are very much like Claymore mines. Front towards enemy. The reload times on these tanks is pretty fast by World of Tanks standards. Oh, that was a fuel tank. And the armor profiles are much more protective, partially because there's no premium ammo yet. Anyone who thinks premium ammo isn't coming to this game is fucking kidding themselves. Companies like making money, and premium ammo is a good way for them to make money. But right now, heavily armored tanks like this Chieftain, which actually plays a whole lot like my beloved Mutant, are very powerful vehicles. I can just soak up tons and tons and tons of damage. And keep doing it, because while the gun isn't phenomenal, the gun is good enough. Now here I've got, 6 kills. I've had to use my consumables, so I really want to do a lot of damage, because that thing is expensive. Now I don't carry as many consumables as I would in a World of Tanks battle. This game is paced very differently. Now you can see down here that, my god, I've taken so much damage. Here, again, I shot the back side of his turret, because if I shoot anywhere else, I'm probably not going to penetrate. Now, he got close enough that I was able to put it right through the driver's viewport. But you'll notice here on the little X-ray view, I have just been savaged. And now there are just a ton of enemies. Now, the Bagel Panzer there is a very lightly armored tank. The Stingray is a very lightly armored tank. So, of course, I did finish off him. I must have been thinking about a different game. There was a very similar situation in another game where I had 2 one-shot, very soft-skinned enemy vehicles. So, of course, I shot the front of a Chieftain and did absolutely nothing. Now here we are capping out, and this game doesn't penalize you for capping like World of Tanks does. I do zip over to go after the Leo here because I didn't really want to charge into 2 enemy tanks, and the Leo keeps maneuvering around and right into him. And that's how you have to handle this game. You have to be very patient. If you take a really close look, you'll probably see that went into the side. And of course, the Expeditionary tank is a joke. That thing has absolutely no armor. He does take my tracks. And then the M60 there eats a big shot and pulls up and dies. And I'm not meaning to cap. I do happen to be sitting in the cap circle. The game doesn't penalize you for capping like World of Tanks does, but it doesn't really reward you particularly heavily either. You get a win. If you were going to win anyway, I'd rather shoot the enemy than sit in the cap and collect loser points. But that's because I'm a World of Tanks player, and that's just how I think about that situation. It really isn't as mechanically justified as it is. One thing to note, I do have the extra armor package on this tank, and you can see, as I zoom in here, where that armor package is actually applied to the tank. You can see a little seam on the front of the turret. So that's it. We wrap up the game. Just really solid front towards enemy, beat your face kind of gameplay. Let's see something in a little bit more challenging condition, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Operation Albatross. This is one of the new missions. It's not a new map. And this one prioritizes speed. So, of course, we have an M1 Abrams, which is pretty fast, 2 Chieftain Mark Vs, which are not, and 2 T-72s, which are okay. And this one, I do have the upgraded armor, I do have the upgraded ammo, I don't have all of the refit slots. I haven't been able to customize my loadout. Think of them as equipment slots. Now, again, you're going to see, I have to rush that shot because the Abrams is just YOLOing right up. As he should be. He's a tier 7. Everyone else on our team is tier 5s. Now, some of the enemies, I believe, are tier 8s, and I think there's even a tier 9. I'll have to check. I'm not fully up to speed on the high tier vehicles. The Chieftain Mark V being my highest tier vehicle. You'll see I'm just continuing to shoot. I'm using the gun. And the T-72s have much more firepower, but much less armor, which is why they're sitting back there. They should be. This is, in this battle, they definitely are more gun than armor. They also have a lot better agility than we do, except maybe the M1 Abrams. Now, the M1 Abrams, like the Chieftain, has very acceptable speed. What it doesn't have is the ability to turn. It doesn't have the agility to reposition itself tactically to the same extent that it can reposition itself strategically. What I mean by that is, once it's facing a direction, it is more or less committed over a short period of time. It's not going to be able to turn, kind of like how this is a rather sluggish tank. And this is after, by the way, I have the crew skill Spin to Win, which gives me 10% faster hull turn and faster turret traverse. This thing is just not a terribly mobile vehicle. And you'll see I'm just not finding good shots, and I'm refusing to take bad shots, because all of these tanks will just laugh at my gun, as that one just did. The T90 there just ignored that shot. And I'm waiting for him to make a mistake. I'm waiting for him to turn a little. And aim in, maybe? Teammate charges in. Do I get a shot? And I bounce it. Outstanding. And I back off. Now, one thing to note. We have to capture this radio tower, and we don't have a lot of time. This is a very tight mission to complete all your goals time-wise. I don't realize that starting out. Here we've got a Leopard 2A6, which is, I want to say, a tier 7. He sure as hell doesn't care about my gun. And here I'm sitting back probably a little bit too long. I do need to be moving. I should really be pushing up to where the chieftain is. Now and here I'm just shooting HE. So my goal is to push east and then southeast onto the ramp for the airport here. And again, I'm shooting HE because I can't freaking penetrate that guy from the front. I am just struggling mightily. I don't even hit with that shot. The shot speeds as well are not particularly fast. I have switched back. The Terminator has some spots I can penetrate, mostly on the turret. Of course, I can also miss the thing completely shooting at the turret. It has a very, very funky turret. In fact, let's go check that out. Fast forward here. You can see that turret, you can hit it for reduced damage. The front and even the sides on that are nasty. But the turret has very little armor. You don't get full damage. You only do about 50%, 50 or 60% damage to the thing. But you can at least do some damage, which you really can't even shooting at the side of that thing with this tank. So we have 10 minutes left to destroy the enemy command center. The one thing I'd like if they fix is, I scraped that second tree, and you saw how much this tank slowed down. This is not a tank you want to have slow down very much. And I'm not entirely happy with my performance so far. I have not done a ton of damage. I've only got the one kill. I'm not carrying my weight. And a Leopard shows up. Put a big shot into his side. Square up to him. And I'd rather square up and lose a little bit of hull angle than give up side. So I'm definitely squaring up very flat towards the enemy. MBT-70 moves up. Now I know the enemy is going to be spawning in this area, so I have to be very aware what's to my left. Now they have a tough time getting line of sight, because this is dead ground, although if I was to the left it would be better. Expeditionary tank, and there he is. That's what I was hoping to avoid. So I back up. I know the expeditionary tank is there. MBT-70 goes down. The expeditionary tank hits our T-72. And I do not finish off the expeditionary tank. I look for a good shot. I get the Leopard 2AV. And at this point, it's just applying damage. It's keeping your gun in the game, keeping those shots firing. And all of a sudden, I've clawed my way back to 3 kills. I'm feeling a little better about myself. And the enemy is going to be in predictable positions for the next little phase of the battle. So I get to move up and try to play some hull down, front towards enemy, shoot 'em up games. Leopard 2, of course, goes through my lower front plate because I went so far forward. Oh, he didn't go through my lower front plate. Where did he? That little bastard. And a Bagel Panzer. And this is starting to look really bad. I'm too far forward. Bagel Panzer puts a shot against me. Leopard and a freaking... Look at all these tanks spawning. Are you kidding me? It is... You know, it's one thing for the enemy to be in predictable positions, and I miss. It's another thing for them to just be spawning all over the damn place. And that Bagel Panzer dies, and... I put a shot into the Ural. I pop my big heal. Put a shot into the Akatsiya. No idea what that even is. And that, you know, the Ural just drove right into my sights. I was probably zoomed in too far for the range I was at. I could have been zoomed out a little better and had better situational awareness. But at the same time, that idiot drove right into my gun sights. He can go fuck himself. So now we're going to turn back and we're going to look down onto the runway, because at this point we just have to keep them from capturing the runway. And this is only going to take about 2 or 3 minutes. The timers aren't showing right. We finished the first objective with, I think if I remember right, with about a minute left, maybe less. We finished the second objective with a little over 2 minutes left. And the third objective, and his tracks eat it, because some things just... God damn it. And I have to pull up to finish this guy, and you can see my side. If that Stingray had been paying attention, those guys could have taken a bunch of my health off. Put a shot in, square up. And now we've got a bunch of lightly armored Stingrays who are just begging to be killed. So I do what I do best. I finish them off. I don't have huge alpha, so kill stealing in this I feel is totally legit. The T-72s both have better alpha than me, so if they want to, if they want to just one-shot people, they're more than happy to do it. I will finish off low health enemies because that's what I should do. Now here we have the M1A2 Abrams. This is at least, yeah, this is definitely a tier 9 vehicle. And you'll see where the shots are penetrating him. They are penetrating him on the back half of the hull. Now, our M1 does get some shots in, but you can see I'm just kind of staring at this guy like, do you want to turn? Oh, thanks. I appreciate you turning and giving me the side of your hull. Sure as hell I'm not shooting at the front of it. And now we're going to do some reverse angle stuff. You can see this is what the enemy is seeing. They're seeing an angled front of my tank with the side of my tank protected by the building, except this one damn M1 Abrams, who is only an ordinary tier 7 M1 Abrams. Thank you very much. And I'm still getting pounded, so I back off. I let one of the T-72s take some fire. Now our chieftain is down. Our other chieftain and one of our T-72s is down. I finish off the M1 Abrams, who was probably charging a little bit too hard, but hey, computer enemies. And here's the rest of them, kind of drifting around. I put a shot into the XM1, sets his engine on fire. He burns down to low health, and going for the shot. Nope, our T-72 gets him. And the timer runs out. Any second now. And there we go. So that's just a little bit of the gameplay you get in this game. It's similar to World of Tanks without being the same game. The lack of gold ammo to date, the armor profiles, and the gun handling make this a very different game. I actually shoot on the move less with modern tanks than I do with the older tanks, just because you need to hit the right points. That isn't to say I never shoot on the move, but it is definitely a bigger feature in World of Tanks so far than it has been in Armored Warfare. I'll be interested to see how that plays out going forward. For now, if you like the videos, don't be afraid to like and subscribe. Comment below, let us know what you like, what you didn't like. For Digital.Flash.Fire, this is Dan. Thank you very much for watching. Tell your friends. Have a good day.